All right, my homies, what is happening? Your boy Max is back with a new video. Now, I recently pulled my hamstring, so I'm going to make my videos a little bit shorter because after a little while, I just need to chill out and lay down or sit down, give my leg a break. So, probably make this like 5 to 10 minutes, all right? And then I'll do the rest. It was going to be a longer video, but now I'm just going to do the rest in segments. So, some of your risers and fallers, I'm going to go over that and some trade targets, and I got one nice trade target for you right here as a bonus. So, now let's talk about Julio Jones and Keenan Allen because they're in the same exact situation. They're wide receiver ones. You spent a lot of dough in draft capital on them, and now it might look like there's a draft pick behind them that's going to be eating into some of their carries or touches, and that's true. So Ridley is definitely going to eat into Julio Jones' targets. There's no question about that. So Julio Jones is definitely trending downwards as far as value. You can't trade him because you won't get anything worth him. You just got to hold on to him. So Keenan Allen's in the same boat with Mike Williams. As a matter of fact, Keenan Allen looked like he got a little bit of an injury when I was watching the game. So I suggest you go out and pick up Mike Williams because if something happens to Keenan Allen, Mike Williams is the legit #1 wide receiver one right there. So now Goodwin out in San Francisco is droppable in my opinion. You might as well drop him. There's a lot of wide receivers out there. It's not really that valuable. He's not a running back with a lot of upside, so I wouldn't waste a roster spot on him unless I really needed him. But we don't even know what he is yet. So we got to see Beathard and see what he does. And so you might need the spot more than you need the player. So go ahead and cut Goodwin. Drake obviously is trending downward. He had a terrible week, and let me tell you guys, it's probably not going to get too much better. You're not going to get anything for him unless he has a big week. So if he does have a big week, maybe you flip him. But they're not running a lot of plays in Miami. In Miami's, they're running the ball and they're draining the clock, and so there's just not going to be a lot of possessions. So Drake is down. Obviously, Amari Cooper is the same old Amari Cooper, which is why I'm never buying in on Amari Cooper, but probably won't get anything for him, so you might want to hold on to him, just see what happens. And then Robbie Anderson is definitely not the #1 out there in New York, and Quincy Enunwa is getting a lot of targets, but he's not going to get the touchdowns, so he's really not that valuable unless you're in PPR. Let's talk about the good stuff, my homes. Check it out. We got Sony Michel definitely on the way up. Now Rex Burkhead's on IR, so Sony Michel's going to have it to himself, just him and James White. And some people think that Sony Michel, that he's not a pass catching back for some reason, but they're wrong. There's no reason, there's no way that Belichick would have spent a first-round pick on Sony if he wasn't intending on using him in the passing game. So Sony Michel's definitely going to be a pass catcher, and I know he didn't look good. Okay. To add to that, a lot of those carries were just garbage time carries. They were just running out the ball, so he can't even say he got really legitimately 14 carries. But the thing is that Belichick is going to give him every opportunity to win that job. And if he's good, they're going to need him. So we're talking about maybe a RB1 or RB2 right there in Sony Michel. So if you can trade for him, grab him. But the gig is kind of up. You should have traded for him last week. But yeah, another person that you should trade for, a couple of people you should trade for, Woods and Landry. Now Landry's obvious. Gordon is out of there and Baker Mayfield is now in. So the two things that were holding Landry back are now gone, and he's a wide receiver one now, okay? He's a top 10 wide receiver. So if you can trade for him right now while he's still being considered a wide receiver 2 or 3 before this week's game, I suggest you do that if you need a wide receiver. Now, Woods is very similar. He was the top wide receiver last year, okay, in the offense at the Rams. He was that big, deep threat, and this year's no different. Except for, Cooks is actually opening it up for him. So his air yards are a lot, and he's going to be getting some deep passes. He's going to be good. So I would definitely suggest trading for them, even though right now his value is high. His owner might be trying to sell because nobody really believes in him. Now, Aaron Jones is obvious. Chris Carson is obvious. And Golladay is obvious. Watkins and Matt Ryan, all of them are trending upwards. And Matt Ryan, if you can trade for him now, even though it's going to be kind of hard to get him right now, his playoff schedule looks amazing. So actually, so does Julio Jones in the playoffs. So, does that mean that he'll be in there? Sometimes he's injured. Sometimes they go away from him. Ridley could eat in. But the schedule is delicious. So that's it, y'all. that's my risers and fallers. We're going to do some running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, and tight ends, but I'm going to do that in another video so that I don't have to stand up here for 30 minutes. And I'm going to give you my bonus here. This is the guy you need to trade for, or try to trade for him. You don't need to, but this guy's going under the radar, and that's Jordan Howard. He's catching passes now. The Bears' offense is going to get better as the season goes along, so this is a good buy low opportunity. Running backs are very hard to get, so if you can get the running back from an owner who's not really appreciative of him right now because he's somewhat underproducing, go ahead and pull him. If you have to give up a nice wide receiver, go for it, because running backs are harder to come by. They're more scarce, and if you end up with a stockpile of running backs, you got some nice trading chips. So I say go for Jordan Howard if it doesn't cost you too much, and roll with him all year. He's got an absolutely amazing schedule, probably the #1 schedule, strength of schedule for running backs. So I would just hold Jordan Howard if I have him, and I do. But if you don't have him, go get him if you can. All right, go get Landry if you can. His schedule looks great. And you know, Watkins is you know, he's like Tyreek Hill over there. Sometimes it's going to be Tyreek Hill, sometimes it's going to be Sammy Watkins in that offense. Sometimes it's going to be Kelsey, and sometimes it's going to be everybody gets to party. It just depends on where the defense is lacking at. That's where Mahomes is going to throw the ball. So Watkins is definitely skyrocketing in value right now, and Tyreek Hill taking a little bit of a dip now. Not a huge dip, but yeah, go get yourself some Howard. Try to get Landry if you can, and that's it. All right, y'all, so peace. To my niece out there in the Middle East, give me a thumbs up, and I'm going to come back with some more vids for you on the running backs and all the other situations so we can get all fantasy goodness on that stuff. So you know what we say around here, scared money doesn't make money, baby, so we're going for it. All right, and I'm out. See ya.